Hello, I'm Gemma and welcome to NonFic Books. Quickly, after my last video, I just want to say thank you very much for your feedback. There will definitely be Austen August coming up in August, where I discuss non-fiction books relating to Jane Austen and books that, if you like, her novels that I think you will enjoy. Not the non-fiction fiction February wasn't as popular, so instead of doing a specific month, I'm just going to do a sort of irregular series of those videos where when I have enough books to put together that I think would really work if you like a particular author, I will then do a video on that. So those are the two main things, and I totally forgot to say non-fiction November will definitely be happening again. So don't worry, we will be doing non-fiction November again. I know a few people are already looking forward to that. So today is my 16 books that I am most looking forward to reading in 2016. These books were not published in 2016, they're just books that I am going to be looking forward to reading this year. So it'll hopefully be for people. I've had a few new subscribers recently, so hello to everyone and thank you very much. This should be a sort of nice sort of guide about the sort of things that will be appearing over the next year. Obviously there'll be many more than just these books, but I thought I'd do this sort of top 16 I'm most excited to get to, which is why, as you can see, my bookshelf is looking a little bit sparse. The first one is Deirdre Faye's Jane Austen, The World of Her Novels. And Jane Austen, obviously, if I'm going to be doing Austen August, I need to get through a few more. I've read quite a lot of books about Jane Austen, but I'm looking forward to having to read a few more. And Deirdre Faye is one of the most famous Austen scholars and one that I have not read, so I'm really looking forward to this book. The next one is also an Austen one, and this is by Susannah Fullerton, and that's Celebrating Pride and Prejudice, 200 Years of Jane Austen's Masterpiece. This was published a few years ago, and I actually got it for my mum then, but decided I really wanted a copy of my own, and this is all about, none too surprisingly, Pride and Prejudice, and it's got some lovely illustrations going through it, so I'm really excited. Pride and Prejudice isn't actually my favourite Austen book, that would be Northanger Abbey, but as it is one of the most popular Austen books, there are a lot more books on Pride and Prejudice, so I may even end up doing a separate video all on books about Pride and Prejudice for Austen August. Again, let me know if you'd be interested in that. Venetia's Murray's High Society in the Regency period, 1788 to 1830. I really enjoy this sort of time period. The Tudors took over last year, so while there are a few Tudor books in here, I'm looking to bring it back to my original interests, which is sort of late Georgian through into the Victorian era. So this book I'm thoroughly excited to read. The next one, woohoo, a non-history book. Silent Spring Revisited by Conor Mark Jameson. Silent Spring was one of the sort of classics in nature and environmentalism writing by Rachel Carson, and this is a sort of modern take on it, looking at what has changed since she's written it and what hasn't changed, and really where we stand. And this is relatively new, I believe. Bum, bum, bum. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, that was 2012, so Silent Spring I think was in the 50s it was written, and this is the sort of updated look at where everything has gone and sadly how little has changed. Helen Castor. We all know I love Helen Castor. This is the last of her books that I will be approaching fresh. I'm going to reread Blood and Roses, but then I'm going to do a sort of author spotlight to Helen Castor, because we all know that I'm obsessed. But I've not read Joan of Arc. Such a pretty cover. I loved her TV programme and I loved the rest of her writing, so I'm really excited about reading that. Andrea Wulf. I really love Andrea Wulf. There's two of her books on here. This one, Chasing Venus, which is the race to measure the heavens, which is all about, obviously, measuring the heavens. There was a particular person involved in this that I can't remember, which is how I came across this book. Oh, I'm waffling now. But anyway, 18th century stargazing and actually taking measurements and the start of sort of science in this way. Really interesting. And one of the other books is one that I've I've ordered, but it's in an order with another pre-order, so I won't be receiving it till May, is The Invention of Nature by Andrea Wulf. I think that's the title, and that's just recently won a very big non-fiction prize, so I'm really excited to read that because she is absolutely fantastic. Then we have Richard Morris's Times Anvil, England, Archaeology and the Imagination. I really like Richard Morris. I know him through archaeology, or well, I know his books through doing archaeology. obviously I've studied archaeology and I thought this would be absolutely fantastic, and it was 2013, it was longlisted for the Samuel Johnson Prize for Non-Fiction, so that should be really good, and it's really sort of small and dense, so I'm really looking forward to getting stuck into that one. Hopefully going away relatively soon for a few days, so I might take that with me to have the book that I read while I'm on holiday. Sarah Gristwood. I fell in love with Sarah Gristwood last year. I read her book, actually, ironically, after I'd said in my top 10 books that I was unlikely to read a book that would have made it onto the list. I actually read Perdita by Sarah Gristwood after Christmas, and it would have made it onto my top 10 list. So I had to pick up some more, so I've got Elizabeth and Leicester up there, but the one I'm really excited about is Arabella, England's Lost Queen. I'm really interested in Arabella. I studied her mother or grandmother, I think it's mother, previously, and she came up quite a lot, but I've never actually read that much on her. And Sarah Gristwood's Perdita book was about Mary Robinson, who I knew nothing about, and she was a Georgian mistress as well as poetess and writer and actress, so she was really fantastic, and it was a really sort of in-depth, gritty book, so I totally recommend that one. And I'm hoping that the same level of scholarship will go into this one, and if so, this could probably make it onto a top list at the end of 2016. Then we have Last Curtsey by Fiona MacCarthy, and that's the end of the Debutantes. Weirdly, I'm fascinated by Debutantes. I think it's such an alien concept nowadays, and I think it's really fantastic, and obviously this is a look at the end of the Debutantes. So it just amazes me, because I read a lot of stuff about the 18th century and sort of introductions at court and stuff like that, and the fact that debutantism was sort of going on so late is just mind-boggling, so I look forward to reading that. And then we have Ladies of the Grand Tour by Brian Dolan, and this looks fantastic. I obviously know about the Grand Tour, but I don't know about women taking the Grand Tour particularly, so this should be really exciting, and it has quite a lot of illustrations in it as well. According to The Art of Governing a Wife, women in Georgian England were supposed to lay up and save, look to the house, talk to few people, and take all within. However, some broke from convention and took up the previously male privilege of travelling the continent to develop mind, spirit and body. How could you not want to read this book? I love women's history, and I love the history of women who stepped outside of the normal sort of society's boundaries for them, so this will definitely be one that I'll be getting to soon. More women's history. March, Women March by Lucinda Horsey. This is all about the fight for votes for women, and I'm really excited about this. I love the history of women's equality, and this is something that I've never really read too much in depth about. I've read a lot of the writings from this time period, but I've never actually read too many history books about it, so I'm looking forward to that. I love the novelist Fanny Burney. I got really into reading the books that Jane Austen would have read for a while, and my favourite was Evelina by Fanny Burney, and this looks really good. I've not read anything by Kate Chisholm before, but I've heard good things, and Fanny Burney looks like she would have been very, very interesting, so I look forward to reading that one. And another biography of a really interesting woman is Mary Wollstonecraft, A Revolutionary Life by Janet Todd. I've really enjoyed reading Mary Wollstonecraft's writings. Vindication of the Rights of Women was one of my favourite books in 2014. I read that while I was on holiday, and it's probably the best thing I've ever read while on holiday, because I thought it was absolutely remarkable. And she came up a lot in the Mary Robinson biography, because they had a gentleman in common who was actually Mary Wollstonecraft's lover, but who couldn't really resist the absolutely stunning Mary Robinson. So there was a little bit of competition between the two Marys, and reading that book made me really interested in learning more about Mary Wollstonecraft, and Janet Todd is meant to be fantastic, and this is a huge book, so I'm so excited about that one. Alison Weir. I am trying to work through Alison Weir's books because she's fabulous. I think she is one of the best historians writing at the moment. Hugely accessible writing, really interesting research, and just fabulous. So The Lost Tudor Princess is about Margaret Douglas, Countess of Lennox, and I'm really looking forward to that one. I have several other Alison Weir ones for the year, but that's the one I am currently most excited about. Although I saw one on Lil's channel only a few days ago that on Anne Boleyn, I believe, The Fall of Anne Boleyn. So that one may have to sneak it up into there in the sort of ones that I'm going to read earliest. And then after watching, I'll leave the video down below, Hermit's Progress, can't remember your name, really sorry, her review of her sort of top 10 books of the year. Peter Ackroyd's The History of England, this is volume 1, The Foundation. This is a series, I started to read volume 3 and then decided that I was just going to actually go back and start with volume 1. And obviously this is all about the foundation of England, and I believe she mentioned, I think it's Victoria, is it Victoria? I'm really sorry if I've forgotten your name. But basically, any book she reads, I always want to read because I think her reviews are so informative and fantastic, and this book has definitely jumped up my reading list because of her review on it. So this will be something I get to relatively soon. So those are the books I am most looking forward to reading in 2016. Obviously there will be plenty of other books throughout the year because I'm not only going to read 16 books this year, but these are the ones that I am most excited to get to. So have you read any of them? Would you like to read any of them? Are there any particular ones you'd like reviews on? If so, leave a comment down below and I'll hopefully see you soon. Bye!